Hi, my name is Graunke. My husband and I have been at South Point for 3 years, and I get to serve here in South Point Kids Ministry, on the worship team, and in the middle school small group. My story starts out in Marinette, Wisconsin, a small town on the northeast part of the state, and for the first 11 years of my life, me and my sisters and little brother lived with our mom, and for that time we went to Catholic school. So my first memories of going to church were the Catholic services that we went to on Christmas and Easter, and also every Wednesday during school. From there, my sisters and I went and lived with our dad for the rest of middle school and high school, and went to public school, and in that point of my life, there was no church aside from occasional visits with my grandpa. And really, we grew up in a home where we either saw God as a distant God in Catholic school, or in a home where God wasn't talked about at all. When I was 19, I had been engaged to my high school sweetheart, who was a Christian. His whole family was Christians. But he actually had broken up with me at one point because he didn't think I ever would become a Christian. And it was a super low point in my life, but all through that year I'd had this really good friend named Angie, who was always kind, always willing to listen and give encouraging advice. And one thing that she had that I didn't have is she was always at peace. And in that low moment in my life, she shared the gospel with me. She pulled out a tract and told me about us being separated from God and how we don't have to be that if we accept Jesus. And at that point I had said the sinner's prayer to accept Jesus. I did end up getting married to my high school sweetheart, and we had a Christian home. We didn't drink, we didn't go to bars, we didn't watch anything bad on TV, no R-rated movies, but we didn't go to church and we didn't read our Bibles. So we were living this legalistic Christian life, but I still felt insecure, unloved, and empty. So again, looking back, I can't say that at 19 I became a Christian. I just learned how to act like a Christian. And after 5 years, that marriage ended in divorce. And I started seeing Jeff, who is my husband now of 14 years. Still, even when we were dating and living together, I was still doing my best to act the part of a Christian, but I wasn't doing anything to get closer to God. There was a pivotal moment in my life where, in all those years of feeling empty, insecure, still trying to find security, and at this point, we had been living together for years, moved down to Florida. I was still looking for security in performance, and now it was job performance, but also in things, because we were around people that had money and bigger houses. So there were all these different things to try to find security. But what God did is amazing. After a year of being in Florida and changing our careers, He sent clients, we do financial planning, and He sent clients who had just moved down from New York to work with Jeff. One day I was having a meeting with the husband, whose name is Joe, and we started talking about guitar. He found out I played guitar, and he invited me to join the church band. So I thought, okay, well, why not? So I walked on and became a member of the worship team at Village View Community Church, which it was strange just to walk on and become a member of that team, but I'm so thankful that God orchestrated all of that He took us from Wisconsin to Florida, had us change our careers, had clients come into our office that one day would get us to go to church, because there was no way I was going to church unless I was playing, or any way that my husband was going to church unless I was playing. So I started playing on the worship team almost every weekend. We went to church every weekend. I kept hearing the gospel. I kept hearing about teaching in the Bible, and started reading the Bible because I was searching and just wanted to know more. It was after a few years of serving at that church that they kept asking me to serve in youth ministry. And I think I said no to the youth pastor every Wednesday and Saturday for a good year, just because of some other personal commitments I had, until I finally said yes. And it was at that point when God put me in a place of a leader in youth ministry. I think that was back in 2008, that I started reading the Bible every day without fail, because I thought I can't live as an example to students if I don't know what God says. So I started reading the Bible out of duty, and over time it became just life-giving and something I'm not ever willing day to day to live without. But it was in reading the Bible that one day I finally realized all of the events of my life that God had orchestrated to basically get me to wake up and realize what He'd done. And at that point, I didn't just say a prayer, I repented of my sins and I trusted in Jesus, and I decided to follow Him with all of my life. And that, I would say, is a turning point for my life of when I was following Jesus. So one thing I've noticed since I started actually following Jesus is I'm different. I know I'm not the same person that I was before. I have patience, and God has given me an ability to love people that I didn't have before. I used to be really easily angered and had a lot of hate in my life for things that had happened in the past, my parents, sisters, and after following Jesus, I don't have that anymore. I have love for people. I've been hurt a lot since then, betrayed by friends and by people close to me, and that stuff in the past would have left me angry and devastated, and it doesn't anymore. One other amazing thing that God did over the years, and this is, He not only encouraged me and reminded me that He's good and He'll take care of everything when my dad had cancer 2 years ago, He also answered prayers that had gone on for over 10 years to save my dad just 4 hours before he passed away. So I would also encourage you that even when you're going through tough times, God is still good. God still sent Jesus to die for us on Calvary, and He wants everyone saved and to come to a knowledge of the truth, and He'll put us wherever we need to be on earth in our times and places so that we'll seek Him and reach out and find Him. He's an amazing God, and He'll not only comfort us in those hard times, but He'll also hear us when we're crying out to Him, and He does answer the prayers. We don't always see it right away, but He is a God who hears, and He is a God who answers prayers. I'm Nina, and this is my story.